Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Wednesday, April the 8th. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local market is set to open slightly higher with ASX futures up just over 0.1%. Global equity markets were mixed overnight as investors awaited the deadline President Trump has imposed on Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, while he's threatened to destroy Iran's civilization. That deadline is due to expire at 10 a.m. Eastern Australian time. In the last hour of trade on Wall Street, the major indices recovered from steep losses earlier in the session after Pakistan's Prime Minister said that diplomatic efforts for peaceful settlement of the conflict were progressing steadily. The communication services sector was the best performer, while consumer staples were the biggest laggards. Shares of Apple fell after Nikkei Asia reported that the iPhone maker's long-awaited foldable phone is encountering engineering setbacks. Chipmaker Broadcom surged after signing a long-term deal with Alphabet to develop its AI chips and other components. Intel gained after the company said it would join Elon Musk's Terafab AI chip complex project along with SpaceX, Tesla and XAI. United Health shares jumped while peers Humana and CVS Health also rose after the US government announced it would raise payments to private insurers. Well, as President Trump's deadline nears for Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, he issued a new threat, posting on social media, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will." He added, however, now that we've had complete and total regime change where different, smarter and less radicalised minds prevail, maybe something revolutionarily wonderful can happen, who knows? We'll find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long and complex history of the world. In the hours ahead of the deadline, US strikes on Iran intensified, targeting railway and road bridges, an airport and a petrochemical plant, as well as Karg Island, Iran's main oil export terminal. Iran retaliated, attacking a major petrochemical site in Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, Iran is reportedly reviewing a request by Pakistan for a 2-week ceasefire to give more time for diplomacy, while the White House has said President Trump is aware of the proposal and would respond. Well, Chicago Fed President Austin Goolsbee said he's worried that the Iran war will drive inflation higher as it slows the economy, saying, "My concern at this immediate time is that we've got to get our heads around an oil shock, which is going to drive up prices in a stagflationary way." Well, economists are forecasting a 1% increase in the consumer price index for March in the US as the Iran war pushes fuel prices at the pump up by about $1 a gallon. The US Treasury yields were little changed in choppy trading. The US 2-year yield was at 3.81%, the 10-year at 4.32%. The Australian 3-year government bond yields were around 4.7% and the 10-year hovering around 5%. The US dollar index was little changed. The Aussie is currently trading at 69.9 US cents. Well, Iran's top joint military command says it will deal with the infrastructure of the US and its allies in the region in a way that will deprive them from the region's oil and gas for years. Oil prices have fallen ahead of President Trump's deadline for Iran to open the Strait of Hormuz, with concerns that high energy prices could slow global economic growth. Brent crude was down more than 5% at around $103 a barrel. Spot gold was up 1% to close to $4,700 an ounce, having fallen about 11% since the war began. Copper was down 1%, as was iron ore, which is around $109 a tonne. And Bitcoin is currently trading at around $70,000. Ahead today, the Reserve Bank of New Zealand holds its policy meeting. That is your day ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.